Hi guys and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 23 and it's now time for round 7 of our career mode. It is time for the dreaded German GP. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be starting from dead last. I really tried my best in the qualifying and then just thought, you know what, I give up. It's not going to be anything special, so let's just crack on with the German GP. But wait. Before we start going into the transition and going everywhere else, just take a look at this. As you can see in the beginning there, it is wet. However, I have no other tyres to choose from. I can only choose dry tyres. There is no option for wet. It's just slick tyres. I have absolutely no idea what's going on. I don't know why that's happened. I did try and turn off tyre wear because, of course, we discussed that with tyre wear on, it's damn near impossible to beat the 120% difficulty AI. So I have absolutely no idea what's going to go on here. So I'm going to check to see if everyone else is on slicks as well. What the hell is this? And the craziest thing about this now is I don't think we can actually go back into the pits to change it because we need the white flag. What the hell is going to happen here? So unless the AI, which I very much suspect, I imagine they're just going to blast off and they're probably not going to be affected by this, but we, as the player, we're going to really oh my god, my bike stalled. Everyone's on slicks. What is going on? Look at the state of this. The German GP sprint is going to have to be with everyone on slick tyres in these dreaded sodden conditions. I can't believe this. I mean, there's not a chance we do well in this one. We're probably going to crash at some point. Probably a few times, if anything, but I don't know. I can't believe this. Every single ride, you can see there on the rear of Miguel Oliveira's bike there, that's the blue banded soft rear dry tyre. Alex Rin's ahead as well. He's got similar. I can't actually quite see, but I'm going to try and sneak up at the inside, overtaking in the wet conditions as we make a bit of a bump there to Alicia Spargo. And I tell you what, superior throttle control is paying off marvellously here. I cannot believe this. We're up to 5th place from dead last on the grid. And of course, who else but Marc Marquez would be doing well in dry tyres in a completely wet track. That is absolutely magnificent. He's 6 seconds ahead of the rest of us. Oh, big contact there with an air Bassini. This is going to be the slowest paced German GP you will ever see. We've not had this drama since 2014 when everyone started queuing up from pit lane. I think it was only Stefan Bradley was on the grid who actually chose to go for the wet tyres. Or the slick tyres, I don't remember, it was so long ago. I can't believe this. There's absolutely no stability under braking. We're going to have to be travelling at basically a snail's pace throughout the entire 8 laps of the German GP sprint. I can't believe this. This is a blessing in disguise for me and an absolute disaster for everyone else behind. Dorna must be going mad right now to allow this to happen, and I can't turn in. I can't turn at all. I'm going to have to drop. I managed to save it, but I cannot brake. There is absolutely no braking with tyres that are as cold and as dry as them. It's unbelievable. There is absolutely no rivets or anything in those slick tyres. We're going to be aquapick. Oh, I can't. This is shocking. I mean, I might be able to still get some decent points. And to be honest, considering that we've got the race coming up in a moment, I think I'll still get more points in this than I will in the race. Starting dead last. If it happens again though, oh my god, it could be 12 laps, or 15 laps actually, of this. This is absolutely bonkers. I cannot believe that. I have never experienced this in a MotoGP game before. This is hilarious. It's absolutely fantastic this has happened. And no better than the Sachsenring, because of course it's a short track, quite a lot of laps, but it's a track I always do bad at because of how difficult the 120% difficulty AI actually are in this circuit. But this, it's damn near impossible to do. I'm still in second gear. I've probably done this entire lap now in second gear. Might be able to get up to third gear just coming out of this rise here. Down the waterfall section then, quite literally right now as we go hard on the brakes, going into the left-hand side for the Saxon curve. I'm running it a bit deep. There is absolutely no feeling up on the brakes here right now. I'm running the wet setup in the sense of electronics. I don't change my bike setup. Everything is still pretty much the same. But look at that. Up on the brakes there, it's down. We're going to have to go even slower than this. Marc Marquez has won this by a country mile. I did expect all the AI to be like that because the AI, the artificial intelligence here in this game, is very intelligent for that reason. They know how to manipulate the game in the easiest way possible to make sure they win. A lap time of a 1:56 is the fastest lap round of the Sachsenring. That is 40 seconds slower than the actual lap that was set earlier on in the qualifying. That's absolutely unbelievable. I cannot believe this is happening. It's crazy, but it's awesome at the same time because this is just pure bonkers. I've gone deep now into the Omega corner. Actually finding a bit of time with this one because, of course, we didn't run it off into turn 1 and then we have stayed on the bike so far. So 8 seconds ahead of an Air Bastianini. You know what? Let's just try and poodle home now. Keep it in traction control 2. Leave the anti-wheelie on 1 because we're not going to be accelerating enough to get the front wheel lifting up. Engine power 4. Engine power. We'll leave the power on 2, but engine braking on 4. I don't know what's going on. I really don't. I did turn off, as I say, I did turn off the tyre wear because we discussed this last time. The AI in the wet are just so competitive, so good, and the players cannot be because the tyres burn up so quickly. So I did decide to turn off the tyre wear, which I think could be the cause of this issue here today, of this bug, this glitch. But I tell you what, this is just hilarity. It's absolutely brilliant to think that we could have an absolute unbelievable, unforgettable German GP sprint. I'm half expecting this to happen to the race as well, so we'll see what happens. But 9 seconds behind Marc Marquez now, so we've actually pulled back a little bit of time and into the final corner. Just finding the feeling now. I actually feel like I'm getting better and better in these rather terrible conditions, but across the line we are going to set a new fastest lap. It's a 1:53.1, so we did take away a good chunk of time away from Marc Marquez, but getting on the power there, upshifting, has not done us any favours. We lost a lot of time going into turn 1, but this incredibly slow, tentative race, it's going to take a long one. This might take longer than the actual Grand Prix itself. I don't even know if I've got the energy to do the Grand Prix in a moment's time. This is absolutely bonkers. I can't believe it. I'm already thinking of thumbnails and titles for this one. It's absolutely bonkers. I can't believe it. Let me know in the comments section down below if you've seen this before or even heard of it. I think I got told that, I think it was Potato as a matter of fact, he did have an issue where he couldn't change tyres and had to start on the slicks, but I think he just basically binned it off. I don't know whether he said that the AI also went on the slicks. I think I'm very fortunate for that because I'll be honest, I did not expect the AI to have the same problem that we did. I very much expected it to just be a player problem where we'd have to deal with the slick tyres in the wet conditions, and the AI would probably, even though it says they're on slicks, would probably still be competitive as if they were on wets. That's how I foreseen this going down. Or foresaw, is that the correct term, correct past tense of foreseen? Or foresee? I don't know. Foresight? I have no idea. But anyway, this is too much to think about right now because the gentleness is actually playing off in my favour here because I'm already rather relaxed and quite gentle upon the acceleration. It's the braking that's got me nervous. We're not spinning up the rear, we're not kicking it out sideways every other corner here. I think we're actually not doing a bad job. And lap 4 here, we've just set the fast lap of the Grand Prix, of the sprint should I say, 1:52.7. We're just slowly getting better. The gap to Marc Marquez has come down to 5 seconds. We might have a battle on our hands here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not lose faith. And I tell you what, now we have the chance to do it. Head down to the bottom there, hit the subscribe button because sooner or later we're going to get involved with Marc Marquez and we're going to go ding-donging for a battle. 5 seconds is the gap now. We're taking chunks of time away from him. I don't know how I keep the realism or the immersion in this one. I don't know what to tell you. We're all on slick tyres. This would never pass for safety. There's not a chance that Loris Capirossi and the rest of them went around in the BMW safety car and suddenly went, yeah, good conditions. Good enough for slicks, as a matter of fact. So recommend all the riders go on slick tyres. Michelin have a field day. This is bonkers. But we are actually... I don't know whether it's the tyres. They haven't warmed up, but they are beginning to feel much better. Not into the conditions of it being wet tyres, but second gear, traction control on 2, anti-wheelie 1. This seems to be a decent setup. I actually feel that we need to try this again at some point. Not necessarily to try and get the AI to do it, but just to try it in time trial to see what sort of lap times it can be produced with completely slick tyres. Because cast your minds back to last season when I was with the Gas, or excuse me, the year before, I was with the Gas and I took a gamble to stay out and have my quotation marks Brad Binder moment in the Chang International Circuit, which went horribly, horribly wrong. So I'm thinking that that was good experience. It was good practice to be in a situation now where we can prepare for something as absolutely incredible as this. It's purely unbelievable. A 151.2 is now what we're setting. We're in the slipstream of Marc Marquez, and we have an opportunity to get him on the brakes in these conditions in the German GP Sprint. Ladies and gentlemen, we could be winning for the first ever time in the Sachsenring. I might have won in the Moto3 days, but that was on a lower difficulty. We could be looking at a 120% difficulty challenge in these conditions against the AI. And look at Marquez, he's really struggling now. Either he's struggling or we're just getting faster. I don't really know the answer to that question, but it certainly feels that we're getting more and more confident, which is a good thing but also a bad thing because we don't want to push too much. It is a little bit too easy to get too excited and to think, we've got this one now, it's in the bag, but let's just keep within ourselves, let's not do too much. Even-keeled is the way to be a racer, so let's just focus on that for now. And we've got a nice comfortable lead now, so let's just focus, let's get these last couple of laps done. Apologies if this has not been as fun as it was for you as it is for me, because I'm having an absolute blast. This is absolutely unbelievable that this is happening right now. I cannot actually believe that we have a one... No! Oh my god, I've dropped it! Marquez is going to hit my bike! Oh, that's even worse because the bike's going to spin and it's going to take me longer to respawn, but... Even though that Marquez hit us, he wasn't travelling at enough speed to actually crash there. But I've just blown it. That was my chance of winning in the Sachsenring, and I've just blown it. I was just thinking that this might not be as fun for you guys as it is for me. I think this is absolutely hilarious. I think it's brilliant. It breaks up the monotony of just doing normal career mode races all the time. Fighting against the AI in this circuit is damn near impossible anyway. But now, after that absolute faux pas, I could still be looking at a few points here, which would be 9 points for Marc Marquez to take the victory. Absolutely fine with that. Marquez is not a championship contender within my MotoGP 23 career mode, but there is still 2 laps, and we were taking out, what, 4 seconds off Marquez? I'm staying positive. I'm going to stay positive. If I crash it again, I crash it again. But we've got to just go for it. Alex Rins on the podium in 3rd place there. He's got, of course, the LCR Castrol Honda doing an absolutely stellar job. Alicia Spargo 4th, Quattararo, Bastianini, Miller, and Joan Mir in 8th place. So it's actually excellent for our championship standings. Now, the objective to defeat Maverick Vinales this weekend was to beat him both qualifying and the race. And as already seen at the beginning of this video and the start of this sprint, we're starting dead last, so we don't stand a chance to beat him for that objective, but we will beat him for the other objective, the fact that we are going to be extending our championship lead. And I tell you what, Marquez doesn't have anything for us if we continue on this pace. I feel like I've got a good rhythm now. Now I've crashed. I didn't crash because I was too aggressive or anything. I just went onto the curb, and I think that's the key. Keep well off the curbs here. Keep it in tight. Be clean. And hopefully we can win this one. Don't start messing around changing gears. Maybe up to 3rd. Maybe 4th as well. But let's not go too far with it. I don't even think we need to get to 4th gear. Let's get onto the brakes. 2nd gear. The front is really washing away now, though. Just steady. Look how gentle we are, though. It's practically just running into the corner itself here. Onto the brakes, onto the power, then onto the brakes, now into the Queckenberg. Look at that! Look how little amount of brake was being applied there. Just a smidgen Same can be said on the power, just bouncing the throttle here just to get that feel for it. Marquez is spinning the rear. We do go through, and it's a lap time of a 1:50.502. The Repsol Honda team will be in dismay at a wasted opportunity. You'd think someone who's leading the World Championship like we are right now as Marquez dives up at the inside. Never mind what I was going to say. It's a battle in these conditions. The slowest MotoGP overtake you've ever seen in your life. Yes, if you look twice, you may believe this is a Moto3 machine, but it's not. This is MotoGP, and it's at its peak. Look at Marquez trying to get through. The crowd are on their feet here in the Sachsenring. Oh my God, the slowest MotoGP race in existence is occurring right now in front of your very eyes. This is magnificent. Magnificent. This is absolutely brilliant. Marquez, can he contend? There's only a few more corners to go on the left-hand side. Turn 7 beckons the Dr. Ace, to win here in the Sachsenring. I've just got to keep it together now, but this will be my first and probably only ever win in the Sachsenring. And this actually gives us 6 out of 7 sprint victories. And that's exactly the point I was going to make earlier on. The fact that we have so much to lose in this championship because we are leading by such a good margin that you would think that we would just give up. In fact, Enea Bastianini must have given up because he's no longer in the top 8. Raul Fernandez has found himself up to top 7. But ladies and gentlemen, I think we've only gone and done it. A sprint victory on the hardest difficulty in the game in these incredible wet conditions. One more corner to tackle. This is the Queckenberg 13th corner. Onto the power. We are going to win the MotoGP sprint here in the Sachsenring. Oh, and now all of a sudden he gets back on the power. I can't believe it. Oh my God, look at that lap time from Jack Miller. No way, that's impossible. That's absolutely impossible. That final top 10 is completely different to what we just had a moment ago. Well, I'm not going to question it. Ladies and gentlemen, you just witnessed the most craziest thing in MotoGP 23. We won. We took the points. I've got no words. Let's get on with the race. Well, unfortunately, the excitement has ended with the wet weather conditions. It's back to dry, and we can see what we can actually do here in the German GP. I have absolutely nothing to lose, as mentioned earlier, so I'm just going to absolutely go for it. Hashtag full send, hashtag stay ace. We're going for it, and look at that for a cracking start. That is exactly what I was looking for. Up on, what, 20 riders almost? 18 riders? Can we get through on Marquez? Not quite, but it is a factory Ducati 1-2 was Jesus. The way Marquez was leaning on that bike then, I thought that was it for sure. Here comes the beast. If I get past here, then I'm absolutely going to go full defend. We've had 2 hashtags so far. Let's make it a third. A tertiary hashtag here in the German GP. It is. Oh, bloody hell. It's not that. Oh, my God. It's none of those. My actual hashtag was going to be defend like mad. Defend. Just defend. Anything to do with defence. My goodness. We are up by 1/10 of a second, and we are leading the MotoGP race here in the Sachsenring against the 120% difficulty AI. I did not think I was capable of doing that. And in fact, just a couple of days ago, I had to enlist the help of the aces to try and beat the dreaded 120% difficulty AI. And looks like today I might get it done. It's only 1 lap in, but you never know. You know what? Maybe I can win, but it'd have to be on a 3-lap race. A 3-lap dash for the cash. Then maybe I could if I also had the advantage of starting from pole position. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe I'll try it at some point. But for now, we've got a great opportunity. And Enea Bastianini, one of our biggest championship rivals for the past 3 seasons, is in pursuit. If he passes me at any point, we've got to lunge back immediately. We've got to attack. We've got to fight and give it everything here in the German GP. In fact, he's actually just fallen by the wayside a little bit. He's dropped down to 4th. No longer a podium contender is the beast. Marc Marquez and Jack Miller have reclaimed the podium positions for themselves. Maverick Vinales will not be getting ahead of us here today. That my goal is to beat him not just in the sprint, but in the race as well. I've got to keep on extending that championship lead, but out of the right-hander then. Here comes Marc Marquez. If there's one person you don't want to go toe-to-toe with in the Sachsenring, it's the man who's going around the outside right there into turn 12. That is a magnificent move from Marc Marquez. Onto the left-hand side then for the Queckenberg. This is the second of 15 times we'll be tackling that corner. Marquez, 1:17.7. Miguel Oliveira, new fastest lap, 1:17.6. Into turn 1 though. Can we get back up at the inside of Marc? Not possible. Okay. Now he's through, I would say that's it. There'll probably not be another opportunity for me to fight back here. So this is going to be a battle of attrition for us as the player. There's only so much you can do. There's only so many passes you can give back against this AI. As Marc, oh goodness me, Miller was wide there, wasn't he? He'll still have the speed, and he'll probably still have the power. Never mind, looks like Bastianini's now through, but Miller's also dispossessing him of third place. Marquez leading the way. 0.6 of a second of a gap there, which is actually not bad really for me. I remember last season with the KTM, and before, of course, with the gas, it was a second a lap they were pulling, even more, to be quite honest with you. And it could still be a second. 0.8 of a second as it is. He got past me into turns. This corner here, didn't it? Just a lap ago. And the lap ago in the Saxon curve, Marquez went around the outside. Pretty much embarrassed me, to be quite honest with you. And now we're a second behind. Take a look at his lap time across the line. It is a 1:17 flat. We get ourselves into the 1:17s, but 9/10 of a second is certainly not going to cut it to beat the 8 times world champion, the king of the ring, right there ahead of us. It's great to see Marquez back at the front, although it is in virtual form. And with the Repsol Honda, of course, we won't be seeing that ever again. Maybe. Maybe he'll come back at some point, but there goes Jack Miller. Does he get through? Not yet. We have held on to second place longer than I thought. And it's still my aspiration to keep on to second. It's just I don't know whether we will be able to. That's a big question that, of course, we don't know the answer for yet. We'll keep on pushing and we might have the answer that we desperately covet. And my only point now being is that just to hold on to as many points as possible. I know this is going to be challenging. I know this is going to be by far the toughest of the season. But if we can just hold on to a few points, I'd be very happy. Goal is still very much alive in the early stages of the Sachsenring. And look at Jack Miller. He also goes around the outside into the Saxon curve. Clearly a weakness of mine, these final 2 corners. Not particularly corner into the Queckenberg corner either. It's a little bit easier to touch the apex and lose the front. So with that in mind, quickly get onto the power. Get behind Jack Miller. We need to try and attack here, because if I don't get through now, I would hazard a guess we will not be able to get through, and that's it. We're not going to get through at all. Look at the gap they pull out on you. They just do not have to contend with both fuel and the pickup effect, or tyre degradation for that matter. Tyre wear is back on because it's a dry conditioned race, and therefore gives me a very difficult task. Oh Lord almighty, I thought when Bastianini went on through then that he was going to take me out. After all the drama of fighting in that sprint, getting taken out in here would pretty much annoy the hell out of me. I'm having the best weekends I've ever had in the Sachsenring right now. Even probably better than when I reduced the difficulty in Moto 3. I can't believe this. This has been excellent so far. We probably will now lose the podium as I just run off the circuit there. Quick look behind us. Joan Mir is in pursuit. But this is the downfall, isn't it? This is the beginning of the end, this is. We're down to 4th. 5 laps in. So we're pretty... Oh, that was a big hit from Luca Marini. That was a big hit indeed. I do have the extra fuel to use here, so I'm going to use a bit more. Hopefully that'll keep me ahead of the VR46 Academy rider. And we do keep the position. Marquez now a 1:16.7 for the frequent winner of the Sachsenring. So for him, I would say that's curtains. Should have really won the sprint, to be quite honest with you. We were just quite fortunate that we really fathomed out how to control those dry tyres on the very wet track. But there goes Marini again. Another aggressive move coming in from the VR46 Mooney Ducati rider. A little bit of an aggression back then. I tell you what, I'll lean into you and you can push me through. That helps a lot. Underneath the Liquimoli bridge, we have a 4.5 second disadvantage to Marc Marquez. Gap to Bastianini's 1.5, so that was completely gone. But we're still very much on it. Lap time's only deviating from about 0.2 of a second, so still very much a good effort from my behalf. Onto the brakes then. There goes Marini giving us an extra nudge again into the 12th corner. No doubt he's going to do the same into the 13th corner. This is the Queckenberg left-hander. And now onto the power. This is going to be our worst lap time yet. It is. It's a 1:18.4. Not really our bad when it's when the AI is pushing you so aggressively into these corners. Oh, and there goes Luca. Oh, I had to lift up at the very last second. That's another position lost against another Ducati. So for the first time all season, I would hazard a guess. Yeah, well, maybe not. Since Turnmaster Rio Honda, where we crashed out of the wet conditions, this will be the first time we won't finish as top Ducati. And here Bastianini now the fastest man. He's had a 16.4. Luca Marini ahead of us as well. That puts us in a situation where we are now the third best Ducati as we use Fabio Quartararo as a bit of a battering ram to get on through. I've actually got my Fabio Quartararo t-shirt on today, so take a look at that, Fabio, and give me a break. Please. He is definitely not. He will not heed my goodwill as I fight back up on the in through of the number 20. Nicely done against the 2021 MotoGP World Champion. Will he go for that lunge around this outside? Doesn't look like it's happening yet. But I would say at this point it is merely the inevitable for Quartararo to get past us. Onto the power then. Oh, just a little bit too eager on the power. That's my best lap so far. It's 1:17.7. 1.3 seconds down on the beast. Enea Bastianini. Mental. Absolutely bonkers to think that we're 1.3 down on the AI. I'm not a bad player, and this Ducati is an excellent bike in career mode. No real rhyme or reason that we should be down by that much. It really isn't. Still fighting with Fabio then. The battle is on. I'm going to try and position myself so I can use him as a bit of a guide going into turn 7, because the way that AI pick up the bike in corners obviously is far significant than the player can ever do it. But if you lean into them and get them to basically push you into the corners, you can actually find a lot of time by doing so. So I'm going to keep an eye on that as this one goes. But I've got to say, I've actually relatively kept Luca Marini in my sights. He'll still definitely be able to see him, but catching him up, of course, is not going to happen. I'm very much a realist, and I'll be completely transparent with you guys and girls. This is a challenge and a half to even stay behind Fabio, and that small error into the Saxon curve has not just lost one spot, but it's lost 2 as well. And I'll tell you what it's also done. It's dropped 0.5 of a second. Just that one small moment has lost us a lot of time. So onto the brakes just to where the Liquimoli signs on the advertisement boards for the pit lane has ended. We're almost through on Fabio again. I'm going to try and see if he can get me to pull into the corner, which he has done ever so slightly. I found myself 2.5 of a second for that. He will probably launch an attack here. Very tight apex again. Did that in this... Oh, did I do that in the early stage this lap? I think of this race. I think I did. Just touching that apex as Joan Mir now sends it a lunge up on the inside. He's been getting rather desperate because I think Joan Mir's got the pace here, but he keeps getting held up by riders like myself. But yet again, we're still holding on. For the second time that lap, for the second time this race, should I say, we said a 1:18.235. I don't think it's going to be that this time. I think we're going to hold on to something better. But we must avoid the apex on the left-hand side going in to the Saxon curve. This is the waterfall, and then this here is the Saxon curve. We're deep. We are deep. Joan Mir, is he going through? He's not, but that big hit there pushed me wide. Quartararo and Mir have my number again, but can we fight back? Careful not to hit Joan on there on the exit. I need to get into power setting 3. Johan Zarco's now involved as well. I'm getting some wheelies here. This is going to be difficult to get back up on through, and these two. I've run it in too deep now as well. Way too hot, way too deep. We're losing positions, but it's only 2 positions lost. And ironically, they're both Frenchmen. Well, not ironically, I guess it's coincidentally, more or less. So, points are disappearing for me. Joan Mir goes up on the inside, still on the ragged edge. But this is it. This is, we're showing our weaknesses now. As the tyres getting a little bit more worn, the more we get hit and punched and bashed around, the more difficult this is going to become. And this is already really hard. I'm having a decent race, though. I won't lie to you. If I can finish in the top 10, I would be incredibly happy. On to the power then. Still not got the confidence to change Power Setting 3 just for the waterfall. I don't think it's really necessary. We need the stability. We need that calm approach to do well here in a circuit like this, especially when the AI is so strong. That's deep into the final corner there. That's going to cost me a lot of time. Power Setting 3. I think I'll use the ride-out device to just avoid the wheelie this time around. That's a shocker. That is a shocker. Onto the brakes then. Can we get past on Oliveira and possibly on Bez as well? Yeah, it's an aggressive move. It's not clean. But to be honest, there's nothing clean about the AI in this game, and sometimes I just don't see what the point is in being clean with the AI if they don't give it fair back to you. 1/10 of a second gain, 2/10 of a second gain now into the second split. Second split comes up just closer towards the left-hander here. We'll go probably halfway through the left-hander and then the second split will hit. And we're looking at potentially gaining some time. So across the sector split there and then into the left-hander again. Let's see if we can just stay with Marco Bezzecchi, because we are losing touch here. As the tyre gets worn and as the riders ahead, Marquez has now responded to an airbus and he's now set a 1:16.435. As we get onto the power there, the rear is beginning to slip. Medium rear is the hardest tyre available here today, so it's made sense to go for it. We're onto the brakes then and into the left-hander for the Queckenberg. We're back on a decent lap time. It's nothing to get too excited about. It's nothing to get me back into fighting positions or contention, but it is another 1:17, so that makes me feel a bit better as this lap and this race, the lap times are ticking off so quickly, which makes sense because, of course, it's only a 1:18, but it's going so quickly, this race. And I honestly don't know how we're going to hold on to this ninth spot. I hope we can. I really do, because that's at least 6-7 points we can gain. It's not massive for the championship, but you never know towards the end of the season. Every point matters. Every single fight can matter so much more and can be magnetised at the end of the season if you didn't get those valuable points. Don't want to just bin it. I don't want to just quit prematurely. I want to keep on fighting to get as maximum points we can here in the German GP. And of course, guys, if you're still watching at this point, then you must be enjoying the video. So please, if you don't mind, hit the like button and consider subscribing as well. I do really work hard and keep you inundated with MotoGP content as Miguel Oliveira tries to go the long way around. Bit of nudging into the RNF Crypto Data Rider, but he does the same. He goes around the outside and makes me look foolish, like Marquez did earlier on, and into the left-hander. I feared that, I really did. I feared the fact that someone would launch an attack, and it happens to be Paul Espargaro, which also happens to be another Aprilia. Oh, Miguel! I thought I'd just slot in behind him there, but he had a small moment as he pushes me wide. And then again, leaning on the Ducati, leaning on the Aprilia. There's yellow flags out somewhere. Is that ahead of us? Is that behind us? I can't quite see. Now I don't... Oh my God, Miguel, what are you doing, dude? There goes Paul Espargaro around the outside. Miguel Oliveira tries to cut my nose off. He certainly did. That was an aggressive lunge into the left-hand side there. I would just happen to look to see if there was any shenanigans going off like it happened. Oh, Marco Bezzecchi looked like he was a little bit wide there. But yeah, regarding the video I did a couple of days ago regarding the AI versus the 120% difficulty, the Aces versus the AI, apologies should I say, we had an absolutely bizarre moment where a rider cut the track and started doing lap times of a 1:07. I just wondered if that was going to happen here today. If I know how to do that, I think I'll do it myself and I'll try and win here in the Sachsenring. But there goes Miguel Oliveira trying to put forces into a mistake, which I think he has done ever so slightly. As we get onto the power now, the medium rear is beginning to really struggle now. This is getting quite the challenge as we go onto the brakes. Can we go around the outside of Miguel? We certainly can. The effort that I'm putting in it right. Oh, I'm running off the curbs. I'm on another curb. If he gets too close to me now, he's going to knock me off. Not intentionally, but the AI's pathing will just see me as a barrier, a moving roadblock. But yeah, there he goes. I am no longer... Oh, I am in the top 10 still. Maybe a rider did crash out because I felt like I dropped down to 11th at one point. I really don't know anymore. But we're still fighting with Miguel. This is for 9th spot. I think Miguel is pulling away from me though. So to finish in the top 10 is what I said earlier on that I'd be happy with. We have 2 laps to go, or at least 1.5 now. Marquez is just going down the waterfall. In fact, he's already up to the Queckenberg, as a matter of fact. Bastiani and Miller are just going down to the bottom of the waterfall in turn 12, where we're about to go to now. This is still very much a fight on our hands. For top 10, 5 points to be gained here in the Sachsenring is almost a win for me. I haven't taken points in the Sachsenring since Moto 3. Maybe Moto 2, but I'm not entirely sure. I remember Moto 2 race was absolutely ridiculous as well. Riders crashing around all the time. But here we go then. Oh, there's 3 riders on our tail now, hot on their heels for our 5 points. How significant will those 5 points be at the end of the season? This is racing, ladies and gentlemen. This is effort. You get no less from DrAce in these videos. You really don't. I always give it my best shot. Just pushing. Kind of wish this race wasn't as long, because then I would be already on a decent position. But now as this race goes on, this top 10, I'll tell you, I'm going to celebrate this top 10 like a victory if we get it. I won't take 11th, I won't take 12th, I won't take 13th. I want the 5 points, or 6 points, however it is it, 15th, 1, 14th, yeah, so yeah, we can get some valuable points here, which I'm very, very confident we can do. So across the waterfall, down into turn 12, Vinales behind us, he wants to take points off us. Will he be able to? Marquez wins, back to winning ways here in the Sachsenring, onto the brakes for us, on board the factory Ducati. We won the sprint in ridiculous conditions, but we are going to finish in the top 10 here in the Sachsenring. Ryder might look disappointed, but I tell you what, I'm not. That's marvellous. That's a bloody good effort, that is, if I do say so myself. Not bothered about the rest of the results there. We finished 20 seconds behind Marquez, but we finished in the top 10, and we finished the Sachsenring. Amazing. Absolutely fantastic. I'm pleased with that one, I really am. Not any big surprises there in the race there as well, unfortunately, but for ourselves, what an effort. A bit embarrassing behind Enea Bastiani, but hey, it's one race. I'm really not going to get too upset about that. I don't know if you will either, but yeah. 66 points there from Miller. Did take big points away from us in today's race. Maverick still behind us in 3rd with 77, and the rest is history. So guys, I'm going to leave you now with the Teams Championship and then the Constructors. But apart from that, that is it from me. So guys, thank you very much for watching the video. I certainly hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know in the comments section down below, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite sate your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.